Hi,
Hello,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks very much. We haven't done this for a while, have we?
We haven't, have we? And, I say I'm all right. I am all right. It's been hell of a week. It's been busy. It's been a bit crazy. I'm fed up of being cold.
Yeah, what's up with that? It's
So
freezing.
I looked at it this morning. I saw a news report on it. There is, and I'm sure there's some meteorologist that's probably listening. Not that we've got those sorts of people listening, but there
Yeah, we
probably is one
do,
that's going to go,
definitely.
wind your neck in. What are you talking about? But there's apparently something like a high pressure that's holding cold air from the Arctic over us, along with cold winds from the east.
That
And we're
sounds like
also
fun.
or there has been 12 significant storms this year, which is clearly unprecedented. But then, the world's fucked, isn't it? So, you know, what do people expect?
Well, I can cheer you up with some good news, Wes. Um, because it turns out you and I aren't vegan.
No, we're not.
Um, no, I was looking in the little hiatus that we had between our last recording and this one.
Yes.
Um, I found a video on Instagram by Jack Higgs, who is
Oh,
Tash
yeah.
Peterson's partner, and he
Yes.
was talking to I'm not actually sure who it is, but it's somebody who says basically if you're feeding your pet, or as they call it, companion animal, if you're feeding
Yeah.
them meat, then you're not a real vegan. And I
Yeah.
thought, well, I don't even feed my kids a vegan diet, let alone my dog.
No,
There's no way.
no,
And I think
no.
And I think in an ideal world, yes. But in an ideal world, I would have been
Yeah.
vegan before the kids were born and they would have been brought up vegan.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
our kids were 7 and 10 when we went vegan, and they were not and are not interested in it at all. And
No.
much the same as I wasn't interested in being vegetarian when my dad went vegetarian when I was about 10. Um,
Yeah.
It's not what you're bothered about when you're a kid. And
No.
for as long as we've got ham and cheese in the house, there is no way our dog is going plant-based.
No. No, of
Never gonna
course not. And the way I see it, and I'm probably wrong, and there is definitely a place if you've got a dog that is going to just eat anything and that they're quite happy to have a plant-based diet, then crack on, feed your dog that. But my dog's a bit mental, and she doesn't really want to. She'll eat anything. I mean, she eats her own poo like happily, which
Oh,
is odd. But
she's
she's
really
very
taking
picky
that
when it comes to
recycling to the nth degree, isn't she?
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so when we when we give her her food, she's very not particular, but she's a right fussy git with it.
Okay.
So changing that up's just it's we don't want to we don't want to force her into something that she's not going to do, and then we've wasted money on something she's not going to eat. And
Yes. And
so
and
and the long and the short of it in my head is that they are carnivores.
so so I had this conversation with Lou, my wife, and she said the same thing. Like we as in humans, some humans are intelligent enough to make the decision that we don't
Good
want to
use of
eat
some.
we don't want to eat animals anymore.
Yeah,
How on earth would we know if a dog makes that decision?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And why is it up to us? Why should we be the ones to decide whether a dog eats animals or not?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And what's his name? Gary
Especially,
Yourofsky has been interviewed where he said, I think he even says it in the speech thing. I've got to kind of talk this through, but he says about when you clasp your hands together and carnivores eat in a up and down motion,
yeah,
whereas a
we can
herbivore
chew sideways.
we chew side to side as well,
Yeah,
which carnivores can't do, like lions, dogs, that sort of
lions
thing.
and tigers and bears. I
So
know.
if that's somewhat of a base basis for dogs being carnivores, then they are carnivores. Which takes me back to, if you have a dog that is quite happy to eat a plant-based diet because you want them to do that and they're happy to do that, crack on. But I
Exactly.
can't.
No,
I can't.
we couldn't do that either.
And
So
if
we'll
we
have to change the name of the
if
podcast to How I Mostly Plant-Based Podcast, which is going to be a real pain of an
oh
email
god.
address.
So is that Jack Higgs saying that, or people arguing at Jack
It was
Higgs?
whoever his guest was, but he was agreeing with it. And then there were a lot of comments of people basically saying, "Oh, look, someone's up on their high horse," um,
Yeah,
and a lot of disagreement with it, and a lot of agreement as well. It was pretty sort of mixed thing, but yeah, he
yeah.
was agreeing with it.
But
Yeah.
we each do as much as we can
As
to
much as is
reduce animal
practicable,
suffering.
isn't it?
Yeah, as much as practicably possible.
Exactly. That's it. We're doing what we
So,
can.
yep,
Good.
there we
Well, on
go.
that cheery note, why don't you tell
On with the
us?
show.
Why don't you, listener? Why don't you tell us your thoughts on pets or companion animals? I hate that term, companion animals.
Uh,
Um, it's just ridiculous. But anyway,
it's from the French for pet.
is it?
Animal de, animal de compagnie, I
Oh,
think.
okay. You are the French expert, so I'll take your word for it.
I don't really know. No, not a French expert. I'm sure I pronounced that and butchered it in pronunciation, but it's something along those lines. Animal of company.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Awesome. Well, if you want to tell us about companion animals, or you just want to get in touch and say hello, then why not do that? Come and find us on Instagram or send us
yes.
an email
And
to,
if you were to send an email, send it to howiveganpodcast@gmail.com and tell us that you want to come on the podcast as a guest because we need you.
yeah, yeah, we'd love to speak to you. Anyway, our guest is ready. So why don't we let her in
Why not?
and up the toffees? All right, our guest in this episode is an author who's won awards for a series of books written for young children. Vivi the Supervegan is a superhero for the next generation. Our guest today is Tina. Welcome.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
Thanks for joining
Thank
us.
you for coming.
It's very exciting. So I mentioned Vivi the Supervegan there. Tell us about Vivi. What's the story?
Well, basically, I went vegan about 6.5 years ago, and my kids were 1 and 3 at the time, and I was looking for some books to suit their age and that weren't going to completely freak them out, because the whole vegan message, when you know everything, is really quite, it's well, it's horrible, isn't it? And a lot
Yeah,
of the books I could find were great, but they were aimed at an older audience and they were more educational. And my kids were so tiny at the time, so I decided to write my own series.
nice.
You found a niche in the market and
Yeah,
created it. I like that.
yeah, it's like a niche within the niche, though, because the
Yeah.
vegan industry is still very small, isn't it? So to kind of like aim something at vegan families within that, it's been quite a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Fair.
So my kids are too old now, so I haven't read the books, but how do you sort of weave the vegan message in without it being um too in your face?
Yeah,
That's
it's tough, isn't it?
that people will think, oh no.
Yeah, I know. It's like, well, I found it quite difficult. Obviously, I wanted to try and get the balance right, because parents are going to be reading it to their kids, because my books are aimed, I mean, they're suitable for all, but kind of the 3 to 8 range. And I wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be really scarred and traumatized. So the main character, Vivi the Supervegan, is loosely based on my eldest daughter, and she's a real empath. She's got a real quiet power around her, and she's become quite the little activist, bless her. But
Wow.
I wanted to her main, yeah, she's amazing. I wanted her main power to be the ability to spark compassion in other people.
Oh,
So when they I mean, you know what it's like if someone's in a room with a vegan, and it kind of evokes all kinds of emotions from people. And I wanted her power, which I called speculo, to kind of be a little play on the Latin word for mirror, because vegans are kind of that mirror in front of someone. So she kind of highlights the truth back at people. So in my first book, she kind of does this to one of her old lady neighbours who smells of lavender and old slippers, and she's just her mum's friend, and she's just doing her old lady stuff. And which I did get a bad review for, actually. I had someone leave a review saying that I seem to have something against old ladies, and I was like, honestly, like, that is not what I'm doing.
I mean, you could have made it worse. You could have said she smelled of cabbage and wee, but
well, there
at
you
least
go.
you went with lavender and slippers.
I know.
I mean,
like,
has anybody smelt that this person smelt an old lady? Come on.
don't know. Maybe I touched a nerve there. Maybe she smells of lavender and old slippers. Who knows? I was like, think what Roald Dahl got away with. I was like, oh gosh, you can't please everyone, honestly.
No.
But yeah, so that was kind of the beginning of the Vivi the Supervegan journey. And then my second book, I touch upon, I mean, I deal with veganism kind of as a whole in my first book, and just there's a little rhyme where it's going on about the fact that she she uses no animal products. She's powered by plants from her head to her toes, using no animal products wherever she goes. And then the second book, I touch upon the dairy industry, and the third book, it's more about the oceans and fishing and plastic. And it was difficult to try and get the balance right, but I didn't want to shy away from the message, because that's why I wrote the books. I didn't want to just talk about plastic straws and lots of other things which everyone is very happy to talk about. I wanted to tackle the tough stuff. So that's how it all kind of came about.
Fantastic.
Sounds awesome. I want to get them myself now.
Yeah.
I'll send you some.
So it's not like page 1 slaughterhouse. No, page 2 the burger machine. No, okay, good. Yeah. All right. So it's not too traumatic.
No way. Like I think it's really tough for children. I think, to be fair, children probably hear everything and handle it better than we do as adults anyway, because they've had less time to be so conditioned by society and family and friends that, my kids have conversations at school, and they will be chatting to their friends, and their friends will ask them something, and they'll say, well, I just don't want to eat animals. I love animals. And, that's an animal on your plate. And the kids are like, what? It's the first they've heard about it. They'll have a chat, and they'll probably, that most of the kids go home and they say to their parents, we don't want to eat animals. And then they're told that they have to, and it goes like, but I think adults, it's probably tougher for the parents reading it, because they've had a lot longer to become really conditioned. And
it's much more ingrained, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite a strong reaction, I think, from all of us when we first find out, and it's a tough thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And for a parent with young kids, life's hard enough without having to think about, right, I've got to change the way I do everything. It's like you're just getting through the day, just trying to stay sane.
Keep the kids alive.
Yeah.
And yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And I get it. A lot of people don't want to think about it because it's an inconvenience, and they think, well, food's going to be more expensive, or it's going to be really difficult to cook. And I get it. Like, I was a vegetarian for 21 years before I went vegan. And even when I kind of looked into it, I thought, oh gosh, it's going to be a real headache. Like, where do I start? What do I do? And my husband was like a big carnivore, and I was thinking he's going to kill me, and like, it's just not going to go down well. But within a week of doing a bit of research, you suddenly realize it's really quite easy, and it's so much better than it was. So I think hopefully my books will just be planting seeds with the kind of ethical side and the environmental side, and then parents can hopefully see that it's a really positive thing that their kids can do and feel more inspired.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Fantastic.
It's great. How did that happen for you? How did that vegan journey start?
The shift, I genuinely feel like if I'd have known what I know now, obviously, when I was 11 and I first saw, I actually saw some people holding I was 11 years old, and I saw some people on the street, obviously animal rights activists, holding some pictures. And I remember going up and saying to my mum, what's that? And she told me, and it kind of started the journey off. And we went to Hillside Animal Sanctuary, in Norfolk when we were on holiday, and I think I just connected the dots then, and I just said to them, I don't want to do this, and they were really supportive. And yeah, I genuinely feel like the biggest idiot going, because I didn't know about the dairy industry or the egg industry for 21 years, and I know most people would say, well, they keep it so hidden.
Yeah,
I know, but then I obviously had my own children, and then I watched I saw a picture actually of a calf being taken away from their mum, and I remember looking at that and thinking, well, what's going on? Like, it looked, the both of them looked so sad, and I obviously didn't know anything, and I clicked on the picture and it took me through to a speech called "This Is Your Biggest Wake Up Call" by James Aspey, and I watched it, and it was like that for me overnight. So I just feel like it was all wasted time, those 21 years, because I would have done it then. But when you know better, you change, don't you? So
that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't know, and 21 years, the internet wasn't as easily accessible, was it? So we didn't have access to that sort of stuff, did we?
No.
But that's great that at 11 you were able to make that decision, and that your parents supported it, because you said at the start as well, kids at school will read your books or talk to your daughters and other young vegans, and they might tell their parents, I don't want to eat animals anymore, and the parents are like, well, what's hard luck? Here's your dinner.
Yeah, this is what I'm
really
cooking for you, so crack on.
I know, it's really sad, isn't it? Because we're all so pro kids having a voice, and the world's changed a lot since when we were all young, but then they give their opinion or their feelings about stuff, and if it doesn't suit us, we're very quick to shut them down. And I think it's a real shame, because kids are so compassionate by nature, and it just all gets squashed. So I hope by putting these books out there in the world that kids will feel more empowered, and then at least when they can make their own choices and they have their own money, the seeds will be planted there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's
it. I like what you said earlier there about, like, in the school lunch times and that, where you've got your vegan kids there in the playground or the lunch hall or whatever, and other kids see them eating that, and they have their own discussions about it, and that they're sowing their own seeds just by having a easy conversation.
Absolutely, and it's really powerful.
They might struggle when they get home with their parents, but if they've made the connection in that conversation, then that's literally how the next generation are going to change it.
Yeah, completely. I know. Yeah, fantastic. It's very powerful when the kids are all chatting to each other, I think, because, as you say, they're connecting the dots themselves, and it's stuff that they may not have thought about, and it's kind of less I don't know, when the mums are talking to me about it, and they're a lot more defensive than the kids are going to be with my children. So I mean, I'm always trying to be very loving and helpful, but I think it just, as I said, with her superpower, it gets people's backs up. I get that. I had a reaction myself, so
yeah, that's it, because you're telling people things that they don't want to hear.
Yeah,
I get that. We had Laura Chepner on last. When was that? Wes? Last year was that? That was that was a while.
Yeah, it was pre VCO, wasn't it? It must have been about this time last year, actually.
No way! I've just been away with her this weekend, actually.
No way!
Wow.
I was going to say, do you know Laura? Because she does the education stuff for the Vegan Society, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's a great buddy of mine. We've just had a brilliant weekend with her and Dana from the Vegan Kids Festival. I don't know if you've spoken to Dana, but you'll have to have a chat. She's amazing.
So was that like a brainstorming weekend, or was that just like a girls' weekend?
Working weekend.
You are lucky.
We won't say that the air quotation marks are there for that. Definitely not.
No, it was lovely. It was a mum's little getaway weekend, but we did come up with some cool ideas and like collaboration ideas, and we know that there's only a few of us really in the children's sector within the vegan industry, so we know how much we've got to work together to really support each other and push what we're all doing together. So it was brilliant fun, lots of laughs.
Awesome. One thing Laura raised that neither of us had ever considered was just even like nursery rhymes, like Old MacDonald. It just ingrains animal agriculture into kids. It's absolutely just insane.
Yeah, from
Every
Bar Black
little,
Sheep.
Oh,
yeah,
Bar Black Sheep, yeah, of course.
all of them. They're
Yeah.
so bonkers when you start thinking about it. And every like kids book, it's usually like Dear Zoo, or it's to do with the farms, and it's all around. They're all geared around animal exploitation, and you just think you don't. I mean, I never questioned it. I was reading my kids' stuff, and it's funny. Even as a vegetarian, I didn't have that same kind of ethical perspective on everything. And then you go vegan, and you just like you look at the world so differently. But
Yeah.
even little sayings that we say now, like I'm trying to change them all. And I know Laura's brilliant, and in her book she talks about it, like killing two birds with one stone. Like I really wound my dad up the other day going, no, say something like you saved two bunnies with one box. And he was like, you're so extra. I was like, well,
I said feed two birds with one scone at work a couple of weeks ago, and someone looked at me. I thought I was going to be sectioned. They were looked at me like, "What are you doing?" Like you're absolutely
flipping vegans.
Yeah.
But you're right. It's like with kids, we all say I'm literally, what's the word? Tarring everyone with the same brush.
Yeah.
That was vegan, wasn't it? Sure, that's fine.
Depends on what the brush is made out of. If it's horse,
everyone that I knew as a child and kids today have a farm set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A play set of a farmyard with a bunch of farm animals and and a tractor and all that stuff, and it's just feeding into it, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It is. Yeah, we had to make all of our sanctuaries, and kind of even the lunch boxes I bought my kids, it had like little pictures on the bottom of them where it had protein, and it had each different thing, vegetables, fruit, but it had pictures of eggs, and it had like just everything, and you just think, oh, it's just in your face everywhere you look.
Yeah,
that is a frustration. So would you say that's one of the hardest things of about being vegan that you've experienced
with the kids? Do you mean
just in your time as a vegan? What's the
I think so. I grew up in London, and we moved to Suffolk 6 years ago, which is like a big change when you've been a Southeast Londoner. And we moved to a very rural farming village, obviously before we were vegan.
Yeah.
And then we went vegan 9 months after. And I didn't really understand living in London, because you don't see everything. You go to the supermarket and you buy your packets and you don't even think about it. But living here, nearly on a daily basis, we have trucks going past full of animals on the way to the slaughterhouse.
God.
It's so upsetting. And all the kids on the way to school, they don't even notice it, or they might go like, oh, look, like animals. But my kids, well, we know, and we talk about it on the way to school. But I think that would be the hardest thing. It's hard enough being a vegan in a very non-vegan world, but when you are so in the hub of it, and it's in your face, and it's very difficult, you can't really avoid it. And I would say that's probably the hardest thing. I haven't really come up against lots of trolls and negativity and things like that. I know a lot of people do, especially when they put themselves out there. But I always try and do it in a very kind of positive, loving way, and just offering that the counter argument to this animal exploitation way of life. I'm trying to offer that alternative, so you can still be very compassionate and kind and loving, and you don't have to do those things. And I think people find that harder to get really angry about. But yeah, I would say where we live makes things very difficult, especially for the children.
Yeah, I bet.
Trying to understand why people still do that.
Yeah,
when they understand it. Yeah.
And school trips for kids as well. Everything is, farms and country days where they go and they see dead rabbits on the table and little calves in cages and cuddling the lambs, and they know why they're all there and the other kids don't. So you're in a position then do you let them go and be part of what everyone else is doing, or do you say to them, like, it's completely up to you, but we can do something different? But then they miss the next couple of days when they're all talking about it, and you kind of penalize for being compassionate. So it's quite frustrating.
Yeah, that's really difficult, isn't it?
But that's why people like Laura are incredible, because she's fighting to change all of that, and get veganism on the curriculum, and it's now a respected belief. But we've got a long way to go, haven't we?
No,
Yeah.
that is an understatement. Yes,
Yeah.
we have got a long
I'm
way
trying
to
to be
go.
really positive.
But I think like in London, like you were saying, in cities, it's a lot. I would assume it's a lot easier to avoid that stuff. But in a community like that, a smaller community where farming is, the landowners will be farmers. A lot
Yeah.
of the people who live there will work on the farms, and
Mhm.
it's just so ingrained in the
Yeah.
in every
Mm.
way of life there. Yeah, that's really true.
A lot of the parents at school are, and the kids in the class, they're like fourth generation farmers. I'm friends with people who are farmers, and that's a really interesting friendship because
Yeah.
we both detest what the other one's doing.
Yes.
But the only way you can really be a difference is be in people's lives. And I've had conversations with people who've said, I'd never even questioned what my family have done before, and I only do it because it's what we've always done. But since you've moved here and you've kind of put it in front of me and kind of shown me why you're vegan, it's like it has actually made me think about it all. So I mean, I take that as a positive thing.
Yeah, definitely. You just by being there, you're getting people to think, yeah, and that's great activism as well.
Yeah, but one of my characters in the book is called Mrs. Rufflefeather because I do feel that is what I'm doing at all
Oh,
times.
that's
But
genius.
hey ho,
Love
It's
that.
it's literally like a normal name.
there you go.
That's
My
great.
new name.
So when you went from veggie to vegan, did you find anything changed physically, mentally for you?
I think I experienced that when I first made that change, I think mentally I was quite down for a long time, and I couldn't believe that I'd been complicit in everything, and I couldn't understand why other people weren't changing overnight like me. And if I was chatting to people and they were just like, yeah, I know it's sad, and getting on with their life, I think I'd feel that real anger and upset towards them all. And I think, with your loved ones especially, you just look at them very differently because you think, well, how can you be a good person if you know that and you don't care? And so there was a lot of like ups and downs, and don't get me wrong, I still experience that a lot, but I think because I've really tried to focus on what I'm doing and throw everything into a very positive way of activism and what I'm trying to do with the books and the children, and focus on the younger generations, because as we were saying at the start, they haven't been conditioned the same, and they're going to hear the truth and they're going to react in different ways for lots of different reasons. I get that with the conditioning and how deeply it runs, but I think once I focused on this, that all started to lift, and I thought, no, I need to get alongside people more and try and just be really positive and show them how easy it is. And that initial anger and frustration kind of died down. Physically, I've seen lots of changes and benefits, and that's just from I obviously was vegetarian, but it was cutting out the dairy and the eggs for me, so that was the only thing that changed. And the fact that I was a really unhealthy veggie, like you look back and you think, everyone laughs and they go, well, how do you know that you're getting enough protein? And they worry about your kids, but everyone's literally feeding their kids McDonald's and Coke all the time,
Yeah.
not even
Yeah.
questioning whether that's healthy.
It's
Yeah.
And
insane,
then
isn't it?
yeah, you go vegan and suddenly you're eating like tofu and tempeh and nuts and seeds, and you're like flaxseed and things that I would never have eaten before.
Yep.
So the health benefits, I've definitely seen, both like really, really positive things.
Amazing.
That's great. It's that is a definite thing that we've had some other parents of vegans on as well, and they've said the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
why on earth are you coming at me when you're taking your kid to KFC or McDonald's?
Yeah.
It's just shit.
Yeah, it's just so weird. We're humans are really odd.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, humans are weird. Okay.
Okay.
So, what's the best thing about being vegan?
Best thing about being vegan, I would say I am a huge animal lover, and I think I thought I was doing the right thing, as I said before. But now knowing that I am doing the best I could possibly do, I can't be perfect. I know people are always trying to trip you up when you're vegan for the things that you're doing unintentionally, but it's just going to bed at night knowing that you are living the most peaceful and compassionate lifestyle and doing your bit, and the best, the best and the single biggest way that you can reduce your carbon footprint is being vegan. So I feel like I'm doing the best I can in a really difficult situation with the way that the world is and the planet. And I think that I can go to bed feeling pretty peaceful about that.
Love that.
And so you should.
Yeah.
Thanks. I feel like we need to do like a big high five here.
A virtual high five.
Yeah.
And for those of us with kids, that it's the least we can do so that our kids actually have somewhere to live when they grow up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just showing them, isn't it, that it's really easy, and it should be the default lifestyle. It's so messed up, it's the other way around, but showing them and empowering them and letting the future generation see that we've tried and we're doing the best. Yeah.
So how do your kids get on with like birthday parties and things like that, or play dates and stuff?
They've been really lucky because every time they've been invited to a party, I just find out what the food is, and if the place or the venue can't do it, I match it and I make it look 10 times better. So they basically turn up with, like, a lot of the places they go to, it might be like nuggets, chips and beans, and I take that along with like a whole box of colorful like sweets and cakes and everything else, which their friends probably think that they just eat grass, and then they look over and see what they're having and they all want what they've got. But the parents have all been great at our school, and they always make sure that they've got, and they get their own cakes usually, because there'll be one big birthday cake that they cut into slices, but they'll always go and get like a box of cupcakes for the girls or something, and they come away with more. And so we've been really fortunate. I know that isn't the case for all vegan parents, but I think if you're having open communications with parents and being really, really helpful and saying, let me know, I can bring stuff, or I can, bring, just let me know where I can like go and speak to the venue and everything. I think parents realize then that you're not just an annoying vegan parent who's out to kind of disrupt their day. It's been fine for us.
Oh, good. That's good.
Fortunately.
Yeah. I mean, my kids aren't vegan. They're of an age when doing what your parents don't want you to do is the most exciting thing in the world.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. So we haven't had that battle or challenge, I think probably is a better word, but there we go. Yeah. All power to you.
There's nothing better than a hunk of prime Labrador steak, wonderfully marbled. And that is almost entirely dependent on how it's produced. Elwood's Organic Dog Meat has complete control of this entire journey. So I'm here at Elwood's farm to find out a little more about it.
Welcome to Elwood Farms.
Thank you very much, Elwood.
I hear you do a bit of barbecuing?
I do a little bit of barbecuing every now and then, yes. From a chef's point of view, consistency is key for everything.
It doesn't matter if it's a Rottweiler ribeye, a Pyrenees mince, or a lab sirloin.
You can always tell when the dog comes from a place where it was well reared. And every step has to be right, doesn't it? Oh, you should see these guys. So, from an Elwood's point of view, there's complete traceability.
Absolutely. Unrivaled traceability, so it's fine.
Every single piece of dog meat.
Yeah, from pub to farmer's market.
Everything the dog's been fed.
Everything about it.
For each dog.
Yeah, only Marks and Spencer's and Whole Foods do this.
Where else can people order from?
From elwooddogmeat.com. That's ELWOOD dogmeat.com.
For top quality meat from dogs for people, meat that's local, sustainable and humanely harvested, there's only Elwood's Organic Dog Meat. They seem pretty friendly, don't they? They're more responsive to me than my kids, to be honest.
So what's your favourite vegan product at the moment? And that can be food, makeup, clothing, whatever you choose, whatever it is.
Apart from
I
your
would,
book, you can't say your book.
yeah, definitely my book series, 100%. I would probably say I've just discovered this new like skincare brand, which is called Upcircle, and they're like really cool because they basically recycle lots of ingredients that like cafes don't end up using, like lots of old coffee beans, and it's all
Oh, wow.
very like clean and vegan friendly, and it's just brilliant. And I think they first went on Dragon's Den, and I think they had quite like a negative response. Or they said that, you know, you're in an oversaturated market, you're never going to do very well. And I think they've done extremely well. So I really like them. They're called Upcircle. Yeah, and food products wise, we try really hard to be like whole foods as much as we can at home. My husband loves like the Beyond burgers and all of those kind of things because because I was a veggie, I never really liked things that tasted of meat because I didn't eat meat for 21 years. I didn't like the taste because for 11 years I may have eaten a bit, but I probably wasn't eating that much. So I don't really like meaty tasting things, but for my hubby, he loves all of that. So yeah, probably the Beyond products and like the Richmond sausages and stuff for my dad, who is an older man who's kind of feels like he's been bullied into being he's like a resentful vegetarian now. My dad, he's like nearly 80, and he's like, you guys have made me feel so bad about everything. I was like, hey, look, that's not me, that's just like your conscience. So, you know, deal with
Just
it.
spitting facts here.
There's nothing wrong with bullying old people, is there? Surely not.
I clearly do have a thing against old people. I clearly have got issues. That person's right.
Does he smell of lavender and old slippers by any chance?
Yeah, I think we've realised what I've done here. I've just turned him into Mrs. Rufflefeather. Oh dear. He loves like the Richmond sausages and the pucker pies and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I used to be a makeup artist. I trained as a makeup artist in film and TV when I was younger. So I'm always loving finding the kind of vegan, cruelty-free, clean like brands like that. So that would be my recommendation to anyone listening would check out Upcircle, definitely.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
So
just tracking back to Laura for a minute.
Yes.
She literally said the chickpea.
The chickpea?
Yeah.
Just the chickpea.
Just one chickpea.
She went, can of chickpeas on a bed of hummus
Happy,
with falafel.
happy.
Is all good.
What else
we did demolish a lot of hummus at the weekend. Yeah, I met my match with her. And in fact, she introduced me to a vegan tuna that I hadn't tried, because I always make chickpea tuna myself, like the chickpea tuna mix. Yeah, like, you know, with red onions and sweet corn and mayo. But I think it was the ones that do the, is it like the Engevita? They do the nooch as well, the nutritional yeast. Have you tried it? It's like tuna.
Yeah, it's lovely, that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, we got some of that and made some rolls with coleslaw and cucumber. And I have to say, it was really nice. Like it reminded me of tuna, but just very, very slightly less fishy, which I wasn't complaining about.
That's
completely.
Yeah, it's quite nice.
Lovely. I've not seen that one. We used to get the Future tuna from Tesco.
Okay.
Which was amazing, like absolutely amazing. And then in the last few weeks, they've moved everything round. So, I mean, the good thing is that the vegan section is not at the end of the aisle of death anymore.
Yeah.
But the bad thing is it's considerably smaller, and they've stopped stocking the Future tuna. So we've got less choice, but we don't have to walk past a load of dead things to get it.
I know. It's weird, that, isn't it? Like, do you think that that's like a good marketing thing for people? Or, I mean, we hate that as well.
I kind of see why they did it, because I'm assuming the idea was that people would walk down the aisle of death and then see the vegan alternative and think, oh, I'm trying to eat less meat, so I'll have a Beyond Burger, you know, like you mentioned, instead of a cow burger.
Yeah.
But for those of us who don't want to eat any animals, it's absolutely horrible walking along there.
Yeah, I know.
I saw a really stupid marketing thing earlier. Say marketing, it's just a new product that they've released. It's dairy oat milk.
Oh, I've seen that. Like, what is that
It's
about?
like, what? Why? What are you
What?
trying to achieve?
Yeah, what, like
It's
a half and
insane.
half, like a mixture?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that advertised somewhere and I thought, I mean, is that just like a desperation thing? Are they trying to show that they're like half on board? But I don't know. It's just ridiculous.
That is
We're
mental.
only killing half the cows,
Yeah, there you go. It's fine. Yeah.
and we feed them porridge. I don't know. Who knows?
That's just bizarre. Good grief.
It's just a mockery, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What advice would you give to anyone who's thinking about going vegan?
Just do it. Like, once you get going, it's so easy. I think don't try and overcomplicate meals and food. Stick with all the things that you love and just make them vegan. Stick with your shepherd's pies and your lasagnas and whatever you love making, and just try the vegan alternatives, and speak to people who have been doing it. I'm always saying to people, just message me. Like, I've tried so many different products now, like you guys would have, like, the best ones to go for. And I think it
Yeah.
can be really off-putting, especially with cheese, which is the big stumbling block for so many people, isn't it? Like, they'll go and get like a supermarket owned one, or they'll try one that will be really off-putting and they'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. But just speak to people who have been vegan for a long time, because they can save you a lot of time and money, tell you the good products to get, and then just veganize all your favorite food. It really takes the stress away.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Really good.
And in relation to cheese, don't eat vegan cheese for about 3 months.
Exactly.
That's the simplest.
You can't jump from it, can you? Like, it's just not
No,
as
there's no
as like,
comparison.
what's your go-to favorite vegan cheese now?
Ooh.
Jeez.
No one's ever done that. You can't do that to us. Jesus.
I'm doing
We
it to
asked the
you. I'm
questions,
going
Tina.
straight. No, I'm going for it. It's the question that I need to know.
My go-to is whatever's on offer in Tesco. Honestly, I'm not a big cheesy. We're not big cheesy. We'll have like
Okay.
the sprinkly cheese on our
Yeah.
spaghetti bolognese, and
Like a grated Violife or something.
yeah, it's either
I'm
Violife or
thinking-
even the Cathedral City. Is all
Yeah.
right. I prefer the Violife, I think, but one of them's normally on offer in Tesco. Tesco have got their own. I'm not paid by Tesco, by the way. I keep saying
Yeah.
Tesco, but that's where we do our local shop.
Every little helps.
Sure.
Yeah. But like they've got their own brand one, which is perfectly fine. It's probably made by Violife, isn't it? So it's perfectly fine. It's just whatever's on offer. We'll grab a bag of that, and that's it. I mean,
I think we go via life quite a lot, to be fair. But I think I know I've mentioned it to friends before. I say friends like I've got any.
You've got a new one now.
Yeah. But Morrison's, I know Morrison's at Christmas in particular, they do a big range of like different types of cheese, like a cheese board type thing, and they're always pretty good. I always find.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though.
What flavors they do.
You're right, though. Don't jump straight into that.
No.
Like, if you're trying to like test out going plant-based, that can just be, it can really put people off, I think. You say just stop eating cheese, try and concentrate on your food, and then try them like a few months in, as you say.
That's it. And then
I
special
like shoehorning
occasions.
in that
Sorry, go on.
Yeah.
I like shoehorning in that you're only liking cheese because you're an addict.
Yeah, completely. I know. And we all
And they
think.
go, "What? What do you mean?" And then you explain it and you show them the research, and they're like, "Oh, didn't realise that."
Yeah.
I'm still going to go and eat it though. I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like I said, I've got no friends.
Yeah, you like Preacher Lawson, aren't you, Wes? You decided to go vegan because you thought, I've got too many friends.
Yes.
Love it.
100%.
Yeah. Cull the friend list. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just realised special occasions like Christmas, birthday, maybe something from La Fromagerie.
Here we go. Here we go. Old posh hoity-toits.
Some of the stuff they sell is absolutely incredible, though.
Do you know what?
But
I
it's
still
so
haven't tried
pricey.
it.
It's so pricey. You can't just say, "Oh yeah, we'll get a bit of that to put it on jacket potato." It's got to be. It's got to be something special.
The thing is, I didn't even like cheese when I was a vegetarian. Like, I like cheese as in bog standard Cathedral City cheddar cheese because I randomly put that on everything I ate. I don't know why, if that was just like a vegetarian thing in my head, just like have a chunk of cheese with everything I ate. But I didn't like blue cheese and all the moldy cheese, and I didn't like that. But
no.
I know my husband, he misses all that kind of stuff. So he's tried, I don't think he's tried the one you just said, but he's tried like a few other brands at Christmas with some port with my mum and done all of that kind of stuff. And there are some really good, like fancy cheeses now. I just think that, as you say, everyone is addicted to the cheese and they don't understand why. That the best thing to do is, if you want to try out a plant-based lifestyle, is just back away from the cheese for a bit and then try everything else first. And then you can add that in, can't you?
That's it.
Yeah. And lock yourself in a room like Ewan McGregor in Train Spotting. And then you will be fine.
Off the cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. Just one more hit.
Yeah. You just got to go cold tofurkey.
Yeah. I like it. I wondered if you're going to do that.
I stole that from someone. I can't remember that was.
And I think just watch Dairy is Scary, that 5-minute YouTube video like that. If that doesn't turn your stomach, even if you don't care about animals from an ethical point of view, it's just it's flipping disgusting.
Yeah.
Like I challenge anybody to watch that video and be okay with it. Like it's really horrible.
I don't think I've seen it. I might have to go and look out for it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't last time we spoke, or maybe even the time before that, we said the next time we got together was we'd watch Dominion, didn't we? Because neither of us have been able to bring ourselves to watch it.
Yeah, but you were working nights.
I was on nights, wasn't I? So next time we see each other, we'll watch Dominion and then we'll watch Dairy is Scary, and then we'll just cry ourselves to sleep or something.
How do you find? I mean, I struggle to watch anything like that. How do you guys find it?
Swipe straight past it. I can't watch it.
Yeah,
and I don't think I need to now because I'm on the right side. So and it doesn't do me any good to keep watching it.
No.
I heard someone. Oh, it was on Moby's podcast. He'd got oh God, the lady that opened the Gentle Barn in America, Ellie Lax.
Okay.
She was on the latest episode, and she was saying she makes herself watch those things, so it not that she would forget, but just to keep it fresh while you're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, just to keep going. You watch it and you go like you say, it's stoking the fire.
Yeah.
You just keep going. You're like, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Yeah.
And that when she said that swayed me a little bit, because we've talked about it on here before, where we shouldn't need to watch it. We get it. We're almost torturing ourselves. But actually, if you flip it and say, we're stoking the fire and we're making ourselves do it more, then that can only be a good thing.
And also watching it, commenting on it, the way social media works, that moves it up, makes it more visible to other people. So then, you're kind of supporting the process of sharing it more widely.
Yeah.
If you feel like as a vegan you're becoming a little bit more apathetic, or you're losing your kind of drive for everything, sometimes it's a good idea maybe to watch something. But if it's just going to cause more damage and just make you like a really angry, frustrated vegan again at everyone that you bump into, then it's best probably to like stay away.
Yeah. I think when Joey Carbstrong released the trailer for Pignorant, I watched the trailer.
I watched that today. I watched it today and I was so upset. It's funny you've just mentioned that. Yeah, I've steered clear of it because I knew it was going to be a hard one. I watched it today and I just felt so sick.
Well, I've watched the trailer and I'm steering away from it because it's like a horror film. I'm thinking I don't want to watch this because I don't like horror movies at the best of times, but it's going to be horrible. But also he is such a legend because he pushes that boundary. He goes into the play. He risks his life to get the message out there, and that it says a lot. If someone's willing to go as far as he goes, then fair play to the guy.
I know.
But watching it, I'm a little bit apprehensive. I don't know. I should, but then I shouldn't need to.
Yeah.
But I also need to stoke the fire. So it's like
it's like the inner conflict with everything, isn't it? Like vegan brain.
I know.
I know.
So who's your vegan inspiration?
I would honestly say Laura Chepner and Dana Burton. I think
Fantastic.
they're such incredible women who have, dedicated their lives to making this world better for children and empowering children. And the fact that we all came together. I met Laura a few years back, and so I've known her for quite some time. But Dana, I only met at Veg Fest in Olympia last October. We've spoken on, Facebook and social media and stuff, but we haven't met in person. So to spend the weekend with them this weekend and just see like how driven they are to empower vegan kids and to make sure they feel heard, that's what I'm trying to do. So there are obviously great activists out there, really well-known people that people would probably say their names when you ask them questions like that, but I would say Laura and Dana, they're mums, and they are just so genuine in what they're trying to do.
Awesome.
Fantastic. I did see Laura's Instagram post from the weekend, and now that I'm talking to you, I can see that as you in the picture, but I didn't recognize you. I was like, I'm sure just when you said it earlier, I was like, I'm sure I saw that post of her being away for the weekend, and now it's obvious to me that that was you.
Connecting the dots there, yeah. Yeah, it was good fun. But I would also say, like, I feel very inspired by my children, and just the simplicity in their brains. They just say to me all the time, "But mummy, why aren't more people vegan? And why would they want to hurt animals?" And I've gone into this for the animals. The animals are my main reason for this. Like the environment and the health were just like good little perks to it all. Obviously I care deeply about our planet and for my children's future, but for me it's all about the animals. It always has been. So I can't really say the animals are my inspiration, but you know what I mean. They're my driving force. Yeah.
What is your favorite vegan venue or restaurant at the moment?
Ooh.
McDonald's, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The farm shop up the road.
They'll probably ban me from that.
Yeah.
I would say I don't live in a very vegan friendly place, obviously, where I am, but we've been very, very lucky to have some really cool little vegan places open up. And my friend has a cafe, a completely plant-based cafe, at a place called Felixstowe, which is by the seaside, and her food is honestly phenomenal. So I'm going to see her tomorrow, and I would say that is my all-time favorite vegan venue. It's called the Greenhouse Cafe. She's incredibly talented, and her main method of activism is just creating unreal food. It's not even cafe food. The flavors and the food that she comes up with, I'll have to send you guys a screenshot, because it's like she needs to be in like a 5-star restaurant. It's incredible. So
wow,
she's my favorite hangout. My lovely friend Alice, Greenhouse Cafe.
Okay. Oh, just looking on the Instagram page. Wow.
Can you see it?
That's not cafe. Good grief.
You see what I mean? She's unreal. Like unreal. And she caters, she makes cake, she does everything. But she's so inventive, and my husband's celiac, which is why I thought he would kill me when I'd said that we were going to go vegan, because he's gluten-free already. So it's already a bit, he's a vegan. No, we're not very liked because we're that annoying family where we can't eat anywhere. But
it's the same thing, isn't it?
What's that?
Gluten-free and vegan's the same thing, isn't it?
Honestly, yeah, we get that a lot. You're like, no.
Oh God.
Come on, it's all in the same shelves in the supermarket. It must be the same thing, surely.
Yeah, of course. But she comes up with food that even he's like, I don't get to eat stuff like this. It's so good. So she's very, very good.
Love it. Love that.
You're going to get food envy now.
Next time I come down south, Matthew, I could literally just drive past your house to go to a better place.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Pick me up and take me to Felixstowe.
Yes, come see me in Suffolk.
Yeah, that's a sentence I never thought I'd say. Good. Okay. Awesome. That's a new one for us. I don't think we haven't had that one before.
No. Not on the East Coast, have we?
No. Yeah. I guess
we should do a map, shouldn't we, of where all these places are?
Oh, what an Instagram post that would be.
You
Yeah.
should. And then you should travel around them all and do like little food critic reviews with all the people that you've met from your
Oh,
podcast.
Oh
You've-
yeah, once we get sponsorship, we're all over
yeah,
a world
that
tour.
does sound a bit like a BBC Four series, to be honest with you.
Hey, I'm up for that. Contact Joey Carbstrong and Danny, the grumpy vegan
Yeah.
granddad that he did Pignorant with. They might get involved. Do a little tour.
Yeah. Wes and Matthews Vegan Roadshow. I love it.
Yeah, I love it.
Good. All right. So, final question this is.
Mhm.
And this stemmed from us feeling pretty gloomy about the future, given the way that the world is at the minute and how everyone seems to think that we're a bunch of nut jobs. But do you have any hope for the future?
Yes, I do. I can understand why a lot of people may not feel like that and look and think that everything is so bleak, especially with the random weather we're having at the minute. And people keep commenting on how awful it is, and we've got hail in, we're nearly in May, and I keep thinking like, yeah, I know, like they've been saying this for a long time, but everyone's got their heads in the sand still. But I do have hope, and I think you have to hold on to hope, because otherwise, well, we just all give up, won't we? And we've got young kids that we've brought into the world, and nobody knows what's going to happen, and the world can be so unpredictable in so many ways. But ultimately, without hope, there's nothing. So I'm very hopeful. I think the more people there are doing, what you guys are doing, and what Laura and Dana and all the incredible activists out there doing their own things in different ways, the more we can all do this and work together and show that it's not over yet. We can still try and make this world a much better place and help. I mean, think how many animals we're saving just by not eating animals for a year, all of us collectively together.
Yeah.
That is such an incredible feeling, and something to be so hopeful about, that the more, it's like a ripple effect, isn't it? Everyone that listens to your podcast, or everyone that speaks to each one of us, like that's planting that seed. They may go and have a chat with somebody else, and it is a ripple effect. So if you look in your own circle, the amount of people you will be inspiring and having an effect on will do the same thing, and so on. So yes, I do have hope. I do have days, of course, where I feel quite down about it all, and you can feel like, what kind of world have I brought my kids into? But you can't stay in that place too long, because you're no good to anyone. So I think it's very important to surround yourself with people who are upbeat and positive and who are active. That's why, going away this weekend, we all came back feeling so rejuvenated, because we're like, this is good. Like, there are people out there who care, and we won't give up. So yeah, that's my long answer. I do have a lot of hope.
I love that. I mean,
Awesome.
you say that about saving animals. Like, what is it? One animal a day you save as a vegan? Is that something like that?
I reckon it's probably more, but yeah, they say that, don't they? It's got to be
so between the three of us, that's 1,000 animals a year.
Yeah.
That's
for
incredible.
however long.
Just three of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
You have to hold on to those little things, don't you?
That's it.
I like the fact you said it there. We've said it a few times in this, and I've never mentioned this, but it always makes me chuckle inside. The phrase we use for sending the message about veganism is "we plant seeds."
Yeah.
I think that's genius.
I know.
Like couldn't be a better way of saying what we do. It's just a turn of phrase, but actually it means so much.
Yeah,
it does. We're just so vegan, hippy dippy, aren't we?
Absolutely. Why not? Fucking with the system. Fuck them all.
yes, exactly. Fantastic. I love that. Well, Tina, we're at the end, but before we let you go, what's next for Vivi the Supervegan? Are we looking at sort of Gruffalo level stardom? What's the next steps?
Series of it and stuff.
I love the Gruffalo. Yeah, we are trying to expand into the media space. So there are lots of things going on behind the scenes. So yeah, hopefully watch this space. We will be evolving.
Wow. Okay.
Awesome.
Oh, that's very cryptic.
Strawberry.
I wrote down at the very beginning, so I didn't forget. Where can people get the books?
Great question.
They're available internationally via my website, which is just vivithesupervegan.com, via like the Instagram page or Amazon, Etsy, all of those kind of eBay, everywhere, the internet. Come find me.
Well,
I'll give them out in
the
Suffolk.
internet.
The internet,
yeah,
the World Wide Web.
yeah. We'll link to the website and your Instagram on the show notes so people can find it. But
Thank you very much.
That's very exciting. Hopefully the next book won't feature two middle-aged bearded podcast hosts, but you never know. But if you need any inspiration,
please don't. That's not a hint that we want that. Please don't do that.
I got some good nicknames.
Do you want your sales to plummet? Jesus.
I'll give you a nicer smell, I promise.
We're not. It's because we're not old yet.
Speak for yourself. I am.
Oh man.
Oh, Tina, that's been fantastic. Thank you ever so much. And
thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll look forward to seeing the next adventures of Vivi the Supervegan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. It's been great chatting.
Oh, that was good fun. Enjoyed that.
That was a laugh. That was a laugh. So me and my lovely wife went to see Mobius Loop again.
You're like groupies now. What's going on?
Well, Michelle really is a groupie. Like, really is.
Yeah.
She's like, I said to as we were about to leave, like the church, it was one of them candlelit ceremonies. So everyone's leaving, and we were just we were waiting for everyone else to go, just because Michelle was putting a coat and a bag on, like women do. And I said,
nice.
Do you want to have a picture? Do you want to have a picture with Rose? And she went, No, it's all right. And I went, You do, don't you? And she went, No, I don't. And I said, Are you saying that because you know that if you say yes, they'll force you to do it? And she went, No. I was like, Come on, let's go and have a picture. We couldn't. She was chatting to someone, but it was like it was so close. But they're so good. You know, if they're partying, and if they're chilled, it is so beautiful. And to be sat, I mean, I love the fact that anyone that's been to see any of these candlelit ceremonies, they don't call it a church; they call it a geometric sound space.
Oh,
which is it is great because churches are built for acoustics, aren't they?
Yeah,
it's such a beautiful evening, and to be listening to powerful live music in that sort of setting, very chilled. It's just amazing. So good. So yeah, just wanted to share that because Mobius Loop are awesome. Love them to bits.
Yeah.
Some of their all of their songs are great. Some of them are so deep and like impactful. I just love them. I love them to bits.
Tremendous. Love that. All right.
I want to be a hippie, but I don't want to get stoned.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Right, before we go, a shout out to our friend Carrie, who was on one of our really early episodes.
Yes.
Carrie is an activist with We the Free, and they did a event in Cambridge city centre a couple of weeks ago. No, last weekend.
Okay.
In conjunction with Elwood's organic dog meat,
right.
and they were handing out samples for people to try different types of dog meat. Lol. And today she shared an article from a local newspaper in Cambridge, headlined "Shoppers Shocked by Market Stall in Cambridge Claiming to Sell Dog Meat."
Brilliant.
So,
Brilliant.
Which it does start off like that, but then it does explain that it is it's activism rather than people actually giving out dog meat. But
yeah,
really good representation there, and yeah, great work.
And also, Martin's got a nice little Vistopia range out.
Yes, I saw the shop has launched today, hasn't it?
Yes.
For merch for the band. So yes,
I so want to buy some of that.
Yeah, some of that looks really cool. So yeah, I'll link to that. I'll link to his Instagram in the show notes, and
yeah,
go and find it there. Yes, happy to support that.
I like it because we've had a couple of guests when we talk about hope, where we've had a couple of guests where they're struggling.
Mhm.
They're finding it difficult. But then we've got a lot of people that say you have to have hope, because otherwise, what's the point? And
Yeah.
you know,
What are you going to do?
there's that side of it, but also there's so much change going on. You know, you have to have hope, because what's the point? But also, there is so much change happening that actually there is a little bit of hope there.
Yeah. And you look at the statistics around percentage of people who are vegan, amongst young people, it's far higher
Yeah,
than it is amongst old people like you and I.
yeah,
It's far higher. So things
yeah,
like that have got to be the sort of thing that you cling on to and hope that
yeah,
it becomes more and more normalized. And so
yeah. And something
until
I thought
it's
about,
standard.
yeah, something I thought about the other day. You know, like how people say vegetarians are kind of worse than carnivores.
Oh, how could you say
Well,
that?
because they're still funding the dairy industry, aren't they? They think they're not doing. They think they're doing a good thing, but they're still funding it. But then
Yeah,
more
I'm
people. There's
not sure I agree with that.
more people are. If there's any level of veganism people are doing, it's changing their milk, and
Yeah.
the statistics are showing that people are consuming more plant milk. So actually, is that reducing the need for dairy less
Hmm.
anyway? And actually, the reduction of dairy is possibly more beneficial than the reduction of beef.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I understand. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know myself. It just made me think. I just wonder if that's a factor that might be happening.
Hmm.
If people aren't consuming milk, then that's going to reduce any. It's going to reduce the impact anyway.
Well, it'll increase the cost of it as well. So then
Yeah,
more people will go towards plant because it's cheaper.
yeah. So any level of change is actually a good thing. So if I saw someone the other day buying plant milk and then going to the meat aisle, and I thought, what's the point?
Mm.
But actually, there might be a point to it. Perhaps I don't know the
Well,
statistics, but
I have to go down the meat aisle because I have to buy stuff for the kids.
yes, yeah. So do I. Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, I wish I didn't, but there we are.
yeah. We all do what we can. It's all
That's it.
good.
Well, thank you for listening, and don't forget to tell your friends if you like them. Tell your friends if you don't like them. We don't care. And no, don't forget to like, rate, subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. And we'll see you next time. Take care of
Yeah.
yourselves and each other.
Yes. And
And
if you want to get in touch,
go on.
email us at howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.